Good morning. How are y'all doing? Loving your heart, huh? Living spirit. This may be my last video. I've covered, when you think of a tree of light or you think of a classroom and you sort of, how do I put this? Put all your experiences together on everything that you've learned. How much information is that? How long would it take you to explain all that? It would take me forever to explain everything that I learned, that I experienced while I was here. It's all connected like putting a puzzle together. So I'm not going to reverse engineer everything that I put together from the time I was a child in order to figure out how they were programming everybody to hold their state of consciousness in a lower density. But what it really boils down to, and I've covered this, is the difference between a reptile brain and a mammal brain. Okay? I always thought it was rather, how does this work? When you look at the skull of your brain, you realize you got a neobrain, which is known as neocortical, and a limbic, and then the reptile. So every biologist knows this, right? Every doctor knows this, right? That you got a reptile brain, and they'll call that the fight or flight center, okay? So that means, hey, I'm scared, like an incoming missile, I better get out of the way, right? I don't need a reptile brain to know that I probably need to move because I'm aware of it. I'm simply running a higher state of awareness, okay? So I don't need a reptile brain, okay, to be a mammal. So there's a difference, isn't there? Yes. That's why you'll see on the paw of a bear the shape of a heart. Mammals are heart-based, okay, not fear-based, which means we're love-based, not fear-based, okay? That's why they put a reptile brain in with a mammal brain, so that the two are going to struggle between being what love is in living spirit and being in fear of yourself, because that's what it is in the mirror. I've mentioned that many times on Facebook page because it's basic logic, okay? If they're putting a fear-based brain in you and then you got a mammal-based, love-based heart, they're going to struggle, aren't they? And they do. And that means that the energy is going to be distorted. And that's why when I was a child growing up, I go, man, this energy field is distorted. So everything that they throw at everybody that traumatizes the mammal brain is to hardwire your reptile brain, so you're operating out of the reptile brain and you forget about your mammal brain. Because the mammal brain is a higher state of awareness. This is where the complexities, the creativity, and the imagination come into to create your own reality. I've said this many times. When I grew up in what I call civilization, in suburbia, okay, this is not my reality. Okay, that's not the one. This is one that was built by a reptile, not by a mammal. Mammals don't live like this, okay, and that's another measurement. So I measure what they do versus what I do. That's another measurement. Okay? So I'm going to live out in the woods, out in nature, where the energy is higher. So I can experience being with her, the great living spirit in the planet, rather than experiencing lower density consciousness. Okay? That brings up another question. When I was a child and I realized how fast that I was experiencing who I am in speed, then that realizes that what I am learning and what I'm aware of is going faster. That becomes a frame of reference or a benchmark of my identity. The reality that I live in versus the reality that somebody else lives in. Now I happen to know this because it's a frame of reference of me. I'm an autonomous being, which means I'm a singular unit of consciousness, okay? Singularity, a single unit of consciousness. So the consciousness is represented by what? The speed of the wave. So I love to go fast. So when you look at a galaxy, or you look at a top, or the way that water goes down a toilet, that you can teach to any 4-year-old child, they begin to realize how to crank up their speed. Look at the galaxy, what is it doing? Now we get into the heart. The heart is a vortex. You want to go faster? You live through the heart. That's mammal. That's not reptile. Okay? the mammal, the higher state of awareness, knows that its protection to maintain its speed is through the heart. Okay? That's where love is. That's where all the light is. That's where the singularity of the cosmos, which means they're not allowed to destroy what love created. Okay? We created the cosmos. Okay? They didn't, we did. That's why they don't have any creativity. They're not a mammal. They're a reptile. So they live in fear of us. So you got to switch and realize, who are we? Because as long as you're in fear of yourself, okay, which is in fear of your mammal brain, you're going to be experiencing the reptile in density consciousness. Okay? That's why all the images, all the words, like I saw the other day, tick, tock, tick, tock. That's why I don't wear a watch. You'll see no watch on my hands, anywhere. There's no clocks. I never look at a calendar. I'm a timeless being. It means I live in a timeless state. And I'm autonomous, which means I do whatever I want to do. Okay? I don't allow anything to hold my mind captive. I'm free to do whatever I want. Because where I come from, you are free to do whatever you want. Okay? And why is that? Because we do no harm. We represent first law, first light, first love. That's what we always are. When somebody is vibrating at that high rate of speed, okay, man, feel that energy. You want to spread that energy as far and wide as you can. So imagine you're in a reality, a density consciousness, in which everybody's vibrating, okay? Imagine what that's like. You're not experiencing anything less than what that energy is, anywhere that you go. Which means that's higher density consciousness, which is higher speed wave of the communication between everybody that is alive, living in spirit. Okay? So this is called the separation between mammals and reptiles. We're done with the reptiles. Bye. That's not who we are. Okay? So that means that the more that people keep fearing what love is by everything that they're throwing at everybody, like fires and asteroids, tick-tock, is to hold the consciousness in the fear-based reptile brain. Okay? That's basic logic. Okay? I mean, sometimes the way that I explain this is, go watch a lizard being hatched out of an egg. Do you see its mother giving that lizard love? Okay? Nurturing, spending the next 4 years of its life teaching it how light works to go faster? No! It's on its own. Bye. That's why they deliberately abuse their children. So their mammal brain never develops. Okay? So this is where I realized as a child, because I wanted to find out, one, how long has this been going on? Which means recycling the fear-based reptilian brain generation after generation. All you got to do is look at parents abusing their children by the way they talk to them. They don't talk to them with love and kindness and compassion and empathy. It's always top, I'm the ruler here. See? That gets reinforced in that child to stay in a state of fear, which is the reptile brain. Okay? Because they don't know, because they're operating out of the reptile brain. So they keep repeating the cycle, and all of it gets passed on genetically. Okay? And through cellular memories. We already know that because all you got to do is look at a Dutch study that was done. Actually, it was a study that was done not in World War II, but it was based on a woman whose grandmother, as I remember it, was living through World War II when she experienced famine as a result of the Nazi occupation. So that meant that a lady that's living in a current generation was always hoarding everything. She was afraid of losing food, which is energy. And it was traced all the way back to her grandmother. So those memories and that behavior was passed on through the DNA, the information, the data, through the female mitochondria. Okay? So when I figured that out as a child, I thought, well, how far back does this go? How many years have they been harvesting energy off fear-based reptilian mammals that aren't using their mammal brain to go higher? And then, of course, you get into all the demonic technology, which means retuning certain things, which means the energy, the vice, the harmonic. They kept basically a lid so that everybody couldn't break through to experience the higher creative imagination that love is using to create a new reality, a different experience than the one that they're experiencing that is fear-based, war-based, violence, aggression. Okay? So that's why things are speeding up the way they're speeding up. The more they keep doing what they're doing, the faster they're going to lose their timeline and they go bye-bye. And that helps to increase ours because that means the more like we are. So this is like separating the speed. We go faster, they go slower. Bye. Which is, it's like their wave just collapses on them because they're not getting any more light from us. So when they realize they can't get any more light from us, what happens? They're out of food. Then they're going to start cannibalizing each other. Okay? Because they're going, oh my God, my light is gone. They're gone. Where'd they go? We went home to higher density. Okay? That's why we don't have any political systems. Okay? You're free to be whoever, you can do whatever you want. You don't need somebody else to tell you how to live your life. Okay? Because you're your own artist. Okay? I'm not going to tell another artist how to play his guitar. I'm not going to tell a bird how to be a bird. I'm not going to tell a dolphin, hey, this is how you got to live, according to my book. Love is a rule book, which means you're free to go do whatever you want. Okay? Use your creative imagination to go create and live in the kind of things you want to live in, which means follow your passion. Follow your heart. That's your soul. Okay? It's like, these things are simple to us, but we realize how hard it is for people to experience within themselves that kind of freedom. And that's because of all of the experiences that everybody else has had down here, which represents density consciousness experiences that are held in the time clock. So when I walk through a city or any place, I'm experiencing what they're experiencing. So I have to constantly remind myself why I'm experiencing the lower density consciousness, because they're still holding those things in a time clock, in their memories, their subconscious mind. Okay? When you are running in your conscious mind and you're creating the reality that you're experiencing, that's all there is. Okay? That's the highest power of that mammal brain. The U.S. Navy is actually using the mammal brain to run its aircraft because of the complexity and the speed at which it can carry out operations. It's far faster than a reptile brain. Okay? Because it doesn't run the same speed of light with a vortex. So that's why when I was a child and I thought to myself, I want to go faster. Well, what's the best way to go faster? You want to reach the highest density consciousness that you possibly can. Right? So those are different levels. It's called the echo. Speed your way all the way up. So I'm going to go all the way up to the top. Okay, which is the highest density consciousness you can possibly experience. But to get there, you got to be going at the highest possible speed possible. So that's the pathway. So what it's like is I realized as a child, I'm actually in a track race against myself to go faster. And that's based on the speed of your learning and who you're learning from. How to do that. So I know how to do that. That's what I share with everybody here. How to do that. And the easiest way to do that is living through your heart. That's a connection to your soul. Your soul is your compass. You know, that's why I know I've got an enormous amount of fire. Okay, for creation. Because that's a creation that you're creating with. Because you have so much fire in that plasma of yours. You know, you become lit up like an 8-day clock, as we used to say. You know? So, for what it's worth, I thought I would share that because symbols and images that are presented by them, very much because of those images and what they represent in energy, held to the things that we wrote into that memory that are really a program. Oh yes, the clock. And so your subconscious mind is holding yourself to the clock without you even realizing it, which means a slower speed. So that's one of the reasons why I used to say a long time ago, and I realized how difficult this is going to be. I've mentioned this before. I'm going to throw this phone away. When I'm done doing what I'm doing, I already got rid of my laptop. It's gone. So this phone right here is the last thing I'm going to hold on to. Once it's gone, that's it. I realize I'm going home. Okay? Because I'm not technology. I communicate through my heart. Okay? Because we came before technology came. Okay? Spirit. They cannot clone a spirit. So that's why everything that's happening in Silicon Valley, all their technology, their computers, everything they try and do is to essentially merge, if you will, your state of consciousness, upload it into their stuff so that they never lose contact with you. Okay, that's no different than a Borg, an android, a robot. And I'm not a robot, I'm not a Borg, okay? You can't not hold my consciousness captive. That's impossible, okay? I run too fast. I got too much fire in me, okay? And that's my soul. They're not going to upload my soul, or they'd have to upload source. And they can't do that because they don't have that much light. So anyway, I'll leave that for the day. If I come back, it's because something significant has happened that I think is important to share with those people that even watch these videos. Anyway, you all have a great day. With love and joy. The sun's out. The energy's up. We're moving in the right direction. Bye now.